Hello everybody, and thanks for coming back to the channel. We're going to take a quick look at the Taranix Q X7. If you follow my channel, and this isn't your first time here, you might know that this isn't my normal radio. I do have a white radio, and it does look very similar, but I actually use the Devo 10 a lot. And you can see with my extra antenna over there that mine is modified. I added a 4-in-1 in here, and then I've also got Deviation TX in here as well, and that makes for a very good and versatile radio. But this is the one that I've been flying with daily. Now what I started with is a little Devo 7E, which is a very serviceable radio. I'm told it has limited range, but I've never had an issue with the limited range. I added a 3-in-1 module to this one as well. It's running Deviation TX as well. And I think the menuing system within Deviation TX works great, whether you're using 6 buttons like on the Devo 7E, or if you're just using 4 buttons like on the Devo 10. So that's what I'm going to be comparing it to. And I think the first thing that sticks out for me about this radio is that the Turnigy Evolution was a big hit, I think, at least. I didn't get one, because that one appears to be designed really explicitly for thumbers, and I'm not a thumber, I'm a pincher. And so I didn't pick that one up, but I kind of thought we were going to see a trend. Smaller radios. And that doesn't seem to be the case with this one. This one is actually quite sizable. It's bigger than my Devo 10. And I don't like that. So that's kind of the first demerit for me. So it's a little bit sizable. As far as the Open TX on the radio, it works fine. You can figure your way through it. It kind of feels with this small panel here that you're going into Windows, that you keep. It's almost like you're using an operating system that just wasn't quite refined enough in order to be very user friendly. And generally, when it comes to design, you're looking at 3 clicks to get where you need to be, and that's just not possible with this radio. You're diving into menus that are several clicks deep before you get into the menu where you actually want to make your change. And oftentimes, instead of just showing you the value change on the menu, it opens up a new window so you can change that value. That, to me, I'm not crazy about it. But you might be used to it. If you're a long-time OpenTX user, you might think it's fine. Instead of just talking about all negatives, I'll list a couple things that I really like. I really like these grip pads on the back. I think they're a little bit thicker than they need to be, but they are the perfect material. They're a little bit soft, but they're very tacky without being sticky. We have our module bay here. Let's go back to the negative side. Yeah, I'm running cheap old Amazon batteries in here. And you know why? Because I'd have to order another battery, and I don't know if I'm going to use this enough to purchase a LiPo for this. So I think, again, I know the price point is down, and I think they're headed in the right direction with price point. I think people are starting to see radios as something that should be less expensive, because we've got these flying vehicles that can do magical things, and all the radio does is control it. But I also understand that a radio is one of the few things that we should look to make a higher investment in, because we're likely to use the same radio for a bunch of different models, where our models, our vehicles, they're going to be getting crashed, and they'll need to be repaired, they'll be replaced, they'll age, and then we won't want to fly them anymore. But the battery tray is kind of a swing and miss for me. I'm not a fan of the button, the digital button here, and it's mainly because you have to press it and hold it down for 4 seconds to get it to turn off. 3, 4. Then it says shutting down. Now the old mechanical switch, bloop. Oh, I don't want to turn it on. Off. Easy peasy, fast, quick, right? So I'm a fan of the mechanical switch over, I think these are called digital buttons. And look how much space that we've got, that we could have brought this all down. I don't quite understand. My understanding is the speaker's better. I do like its balance. I don't use a lanyard in mine. I don't hang a strap from my neck. I'm generally sitting when I'm flying, and I do think that this one is a little better balanced than the Devo 10, and I don't really notice the balance with the Devo 7E. So I think the balance is a very good point. I thought it was a little bit odd that this had a center point to it, that pot, but this pot doesn't. Maybe that's useful for planes or something. It's been so long since I've flown a plane, I couldn't even remember. I do think that another miss is the antenna. Why not put an SMA connector up here so we can remove that antenna so we don't bust this one away? I think that's something I heard a lot of the Taranix users talk about, was these always get busted in packing. So, you know, the lowly Devo 10 has it. You know, I got an antenna, comes stock. it unscrews. Why can't Taranix do that for us? Or FR Sky, excuse me. So I think that was another miss. I do like the fact that they've got different styles of switches on here. Like this is kind of a momentary switch. So if you wanted to do kind of a 2-switch arming mechanism, you could hold this one up, flip another one down, and that would allow you to arm, kind of a double safety arm. As far as the gimbals and how they feel in flight, I didn't notice any difference. So maybe I'm just not a good judge of that, and maybe there's no difference. I think the price point is the biggest feature of this thing. If you're wanting to get into an FR Sky protocol setup, then this gets you in a lot cheaper than the X9 Pro, I think it is. So you can get into this for about $105. Even my Devo, I picked up my Devo 10. That came from eBay, and I think I paid about $105 for it. And then I added the 4-in-1 module, which is about another 25 or 30 bucks inside of it. So I'm in 130 for this one, and I use it quite a bit. But again, this one uses a fairly standard size LiPo. I can fit a couple of different sizes of LiPos. I could put a bigger one in there. I got a 2200 in there now. I could probably put a 4000 in there and wouldn't have to charge for weeks and weeks and weeks. Whereas this one is a little bit more of a unique design with that flat bay. One of the things that really confounded me was there's no ability to charge on this thing. So even if you've got a LiPo that fits in the back, you have to take it out to charge, and that's a little bit unusual. I looked it up, and the Taranix 9XR Pro and many of the other Taranixes, they allow you to charge with the battery inside. Even my lowly Devo 10 and Devo 7, you can charge from within inside. It's not really accessible. We have this little thing on the Devo 10 we have to pull up, but still, it's there. I don't have any problems when I'm flying with hitting the rings with my fingers. I don't go top. I don't go all the way to the edges a lot because I use super high rates, so I'm usually around the center somewhere. But just doing it now, I don't really have a problem. I do feel it right here on both sides, on the back side of my knuckle, and that might be an issue for you, especially if you got your switches down. You're definitely going to feel it if you pinch like I do, and you've got your fingers down. Matter of fact, right there is where I'm touching. So I've still got 5 or 10% left. In direction, and that's not even towards the corners, it's just in the center. So might have to reverse your. I typically arm with a switch down, so if you go a lot with a full throttle or pitch, you might use these switches in the up position for arming. Something else I noticed when I'm flying with the depth of this and also the width from the edge to the sticks. The angled edge helps with this a bit, I think, but when we try to make those stick moves where we have to go towards the center, it takes a little bit more effort to get full stick movement, to get clear to the edge. So something to think about. But I think they're headed in the right direction as far as price point. I think they need to hit a few more key spots to really, if they really want to dominate the market with their radios, I think we need to have an SMA up here. I think it needs to be smaller. I think we need to start shipping with a LiPo battery, and the LiPo battery bay should be something that we might have laying around rather than having to buy a specialized battery. I think that a lot of people would appreciate that. And we could probably even do with less switches. Maybe they're not trying to target just the quadcopter arena with all the different switches. They're still wanting to give us enough to do helicopter and fixed wing stuff. Maybe not. Who knows? But if they're wanting to dominate in what is appeared to be the most popular category of RC right now in quads, I think we could go with a few less switches, and that would help to be able to shrink down the size a little bit. I think having maybe redesigning the menuing system so it fits more natively on this screen, so you don't have to go so deep in everything, and maybe they can just shrink the font size down, and maybe that will accomplish it. I don't know. I think the wheel over here is a good improvement. We're kind of used to seeing that. It's a little bit similar to what you'd find on the iWatch. And if they really want to go over the top, if they threw in a color screen down here, I think that would give a little bit of a wow factor. People would be super impressed. And that, in combination with just running the rock solid, or the reportedly rock solid FR Sky protocol on your receivers, could really have a dominating radio in here. But I do think there's a few improvements need to be made. I seriously doubt I'm going to keep this one, because I can already do FR Sky with my Devo and the 4-in-1 module that I put inside. So I will likely be giving this away soon. Maybe I'll have to do a massive giveaway. I'm kind of behind. I think I did miss the giveaway this month. My apologies. I will make sure May is a blockbuster or a banner giveaway, because I'm pretty certain I missed April. Month's almost over. I'm way behind. Anyways, if you have any questions or comments about this radio, those are just a few of my feelings. It's not a technical walkthrough. It's not a setup or how-to. It's just kind of my feelings. If you're a guy who is running a Devo 10 or Devo 7e, I don't think this is really for you. Anyways, those are my thoughts. If you have any questions or comments, leave those in the section down below. Thanks for watching.